Hello and welcome to another episode of the HyperFRAME Podcast. I'm Steven Dickens, your host, and we're joined by Rob and Anoop from AWS. Hey guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So we're at the GOAT rodeo that is AWS Reinvents. You guys are making a whole bunch of announcements. Maybe just do some quick introductions and then we'll dive into those. Sure.
So I'm Rob Kennedy. I'm the Vice President of Network Services. So I own all of our products and services related to our network stack, everything from VPCs all the way out to the edge of our CDN service CloudFront.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff, yeah. Everybody loves networking.
I'm Anoop Dawani. I lead the product management function for all the good stuff that talked about.
Fantastic. So, big announcements today. There was a time when AWS didn't mention other clouds, but now multi-cloud is a word that you guys are comfortable using. Maybe just get us started, contextualize some of those announcements and really just get us into the guts of what you guys have announced today.
Sure. We just launched AWS Interconnect for multi-cloud and both last mile as well. And so I think what we've seen over the years is constant customer frustration in terms of how they plumb these various, whether it's on-prem, whether it's another cloud, all stitch it together. They have to DIY these things. They have to worry about physical locations, circuits, cross connects, ports. They have to figure out then how to configure these things to get them talking together, or sometimes they go to a third party and they have them do it, right? Which could be a costly exercise as well. So as we started to talk more to our customers, especially folks like Salesforce, who kind of run their products across all the clouds and they offer it across the clouds, they really wanted to have solutions that enable them to have AWS at the center and be able to talk seamlessly to all these other clouds and environments. And so we took a step back. We thought about how do we just completely redefine how we do this, right? Because everything so far in the industry has been, I would say, partial kind of solution, right? Where you don't fully abstract customers away from that plumbing.
From the complexity.
Yeah, and that undifferentiated heavy lifting. And so not only did we want to reinvent it, we also wanted to set a standard for it. We wanted to make it public. We wanted to talk about the best practice in terms of how to do it from a highly available perspective, a secure perspective. And so we have essentially come up with a way to have a full managed service. So as a customer, you can go to our UI, you can make an API call, you can say where you want your interconnection between US East 1 and GCP's equivalent, and essentially get that turned up in minutes, right? Identify how much bandwidth you want. If you need more bandwidth, you make another API call and you scale it. Nobody has to run cables, nobody has to physically do something at the ports. That's all handled under the hood between us and other cloud providers. And again, you can drive it from either side as well. So really just completely redefined kind of how to do these interconnections. And we've extended that to last mile now as well, where even for your on-prem resources, where again, you would have to think about physical plumbing to come to us to connect, you can now click of a button, go and deploy that.
So Anoop, there was a couple of things in what Rob said there that I want to double click on.
Sure.
Undifferentiated heavy lifting.
Yeah.
So obviously you compete with the other people that you're partnering with. You're competing with GCP and competing with Microsoft, obviously OCI, all of those cloud providers. But I think for me, there's not a lot of differentiation in just making networking work.
Right.
So I want to sort of pick up on the point of can you walk me through kind of what the approach is? Highly competitive on kind of one angle, collaborative and partnering on another. So if you can just sort of unpack that for me, that'd be really useful.
Absolutely. So by undifferentiating heavy lifting, multi-cloud is real. The customers are doing it, but it's deeply technical and manual, which means that customers have to go deal with manually physical infrastructure, connect on both sides, probably try to get in a colo space, and then configure network stack like BGP and things like that. So and then multiple internal and external teams need to collaborate, which takes weeks and months to actually get a setup, right? So
the vision looks good of multi-cloud, the execution undifferentiated heavy lifting.
So now with this launch, what we have done is we have made this capability cloud native. You make an API call and your connection, a high-speed connection between the two clouds, are ready for you. It's as simple as how customers peer two VPCs in a cloud. Now it can be, you can peer two cloud environment with a single API call. And the best thing is you can start with 1 gig and go all the way till 100 gig, and it's on demand. You decide the bandwidth that you want to use.
And how do you see those partners? You talked about Google when you spoke there, Oracle, I would imagine, considering some of the work they're doing to bring OCI infrastructure into AWS and other cloud providers. Do you see that as a collaborative effort going forward? This is first steps, obviously, but do you see building on that?
Yeah, totally.
Well, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, again, what we wanted to do here was define a standard, and then everybody that can meet that standard can come and interconnect with us.
Whether it's an MSP, whether it's a hyperscaler, whether it's a GPU as a service.
Yeah, I think the key things that we want to make sure are, like, we do it the right way, right? There's bad ways to build networks, and there's good ways to build networks, right? Like when you put the right availability model in place, when you put the right security in place. And a lot of customers, these are critical applications and critical information that they're transferring, and they can't afford, half solutions.
So Anoop, another thing that Rob sort of touched on, which I want to sort of get your perspective on, you mentioned DIY.
Yeah.
Some customers are still going to want to be hands-on and still sort of in the guts of this. I think there's going to be a pocket of customers that are going to look at this and go, you hit the easy button for me, that's great. I'm going to press it and I'm going to abstract that responsibility to AWS. There's going to be some that are going to be on a path to being that comfortable, and there's going to be some that are always going to want to have their hands dirty. How do you see that evolution?
The way I see it is that, all of these environment or the use cases would coexist, right? A lot of customers who have their literally data center in the colo provider, they probably would want to continue doing, what DIY setup they want. In many cases, we are already seeing customers where certain teams built an application in another cloud, and they don't have that much of resources to go create a physical connection and things like that. For them, it's just an API call and gets connected, right? So we would see coexistence of these two use cases and deployment models for quite some time.
I think this is where the power of Cloud1 comes in as well, right? Like in terms of building on our global reach, our global fabric across the world. You can connect in any way, and then you can go anywhere that you want, right? Like, so if you're already a shop that has your own physical network equipment and you're connected to us via Direct Connect, but now you want that on-prem to also talk across that link to Azure or like GCP or whatever, like you can, like that is the path that you can go down, right? Like you can essentially get any-to-any type connectivity, and it can coexist, as Anoop said, with your existing physical infrastructure. But I think most teams will not probably want to have to continue to go find that site, order those circuits, manage those circuits, call the providers when that circuit has a problem. I mean, it's just, I don't think it's fun for anybody to have to do those things, right?
So where, Rob, do you see the evolution going? This is obviously a first step from you guys. Where do you see 2, 3, 5 years out?
I mean, I think you can see it in terms of what we're doing now is not just the Interconnect Multicloud, it's Interconnect last mile, right? Like, so what we announced as well was partnered with Lumen Networks. We're bringing in the US, which means any customer who has a on-prem or branch or office or whatever that is a Lumen connected circuit to it. Again, you can go and drive through the console or an API call, and you can configure your private access into AWS. And, we're now doing it with satellite connectivity with Amazon Leo.
Yeah.
And so we want to continue to partner more with the telcos that are out there and bring that capability to everybody and really abstract a lot of the networking complexity away from people. There's no reason why they need to do those things. It's a barrier in the way for their own innovation and their own speed, right?
Undifferentiated heavy lifting.
Exactly.
So, Anoop, if you had to summarize this, 1, 2 sentences max, what would the takeaways be from the announcement?
From this announcement, I think now customers get, the network is out of the way for them, right? So you get the speed and agility of creating the network which is private, high speed, highly resilient with a single API call. And from the business outcome perspective, you don't have to take weeks or months to actually coordinate with multiple teams to create such physical network. Just make an API call. You can have much better velocity and quick business outcomes that you're looking for.
And same for you.
I think I would add also that the way that we're pricing this is through fixed bandwidth. So it's simple, understandable, unlike other things where, internet connectivity, you have variable destinations with variable costs and things like that.
I picked that up in the announcement. That for me was key.
This is pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Like we can understand cost.
Not just simplicity on the operation model,
yeah,
but also on the pricing model.
And again, they can go and operate within a bandwidth limit, or they can scale up. We'll bring opportunities to auto scale in the future if they want that, or they can continue to stay within a certain boundary. But make it super simple, right? Like the abstraction happens, both from a network level, and even pricing, it just becomes, it's just dead simple for them.
Well, Rob, I thought you brought us home perfectly. Make it super simple.
Yep.
Not something we've said about networking in a while.
That's my job now.
That's your job now. I'll be holding you to that. You've been watching us here on the HyperFRAME Podcast. Please click subscribe and do all those things and share with a friend. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.